What's good, sports gamers, and welcome back to our top 10 sleeper series. And today I'll be going over the wide receivers you could grab for cheap and develop into functional members of your football squad. So let's get it. Coming in at number 10 is Emmanuel Hall. The Mizzou Tiger has your typical video game receiver starter kit numbers, starting at a beautiful 93 speed, 94 acceleration, and 95 jumping, while standing 6'3". So you already know what he'll be able to do from the start of his Madden career, and that's burn defenders deep. Now his jump ball ability will need to be developed though, because despite his 95 jumping, he only has 81 spec catch and 76 catching traffic, which are a bit below average. But he's a rookie and is already good at one skill, so given enough time and XP earned, he'll be able to round those numbers out. Working the underneath stuff, he isn't a good route runner either, so you're going to want to utilize him on drag routes and curls for the short stuff early on, at least until he develops into a reliable option to route defenders up. Sadly, he's not much of an open field, make a defender miss type of guy, as none of his moves are decent, and he has low agility, so he's more of a straight line type of guy. In regular team leagues, at best, he will be the third best receiver on the Bears, so he shouldn't be hard to grab from owners. But in fantasy, if you notice you don't have much speed on your team, it's best to scroll all the way down and grab this guy before the end of your draft and develop the rookie into more than a one-trick pony, even though that trick is kind of good. At 9 is Deante Johnson. Despite Antonio Brown moving on, the rookie still will be buried on the Steelers receiver depth chart behind a bunch of other young guys, so he'll definitely be obtainable. Guys low on this list will bring one skill while lacking in another, and Johnson is no different. He's a below average receiver and route runner, but like Hall, will use his speed to get busy early on for you. Unlike Hall though, he's workable in the open field with his 92 agility, 76 spin, and 83 juke. But because of his height, you're going to want to work the underneath majority of the time with him. But the occasional deep ball you can still sneak in, although he might be better suited for the slot. He's a rookie, so you can build him up throwing nothing but backside bubble screens and drags and such, and get his receiver numbers up so if he can't outrun a defender, he doesn't drop the ball getting hit. He's interesting because despite being under 70 rated, he has nice speed and make a defender look silly ability. At 8 is Jalen Hurts. The Niners are collecting quite the receiver core over there. They have one of the guys who was on my sleeper list last year in Pettis near the top, and a few. You know what, let me just talk about her real quick. Buddy is 6'4" with decent numbers of 89 speed, 90 excel, and 91 agility. The thing with him is while Johnson is shaking defenders, Herb will potentially run them over and push them around with that 76 strength and 78 break tackle. His trucking rating isn't as high as you would like considering how big he is, but it is what it is. He has a nice juke rating of 82 though to work with. You could definitely groom him for your underneath catching traffic or jump ball deep guy. Only huge negative with him is he has a terrible release rating. What's up with that? 7th on the list is Kelvin Harmon. Harmon, despite his overall, is starting out Madden 20 as a pretty decent receiver. One of the main reasons his overall is low is because he isn't fast, so his claim to fame is going to be Mr. Curl route, in and out route, and the heavily contested jump ball, because he's not outrunning anybody with that 87 speed and 89 excel. The starting numbers of 85 catch, 81 catching traffic, and 83 spec catch allow him to not embarrass you from the start with drop passes, and then you can just build upon his dependability. But I repeat, he's not outrunning anybody. He also has 59 trucking and 63 stiff arm, which in the grand scheme of things isn't high, but for a receiver it is, so it allows you to debo a few corners in the process as well. At 6 is JaMarr Chase. Another guy on the slow side, and Moore will offer a lot of damage after the catch, so working underneath with him will be ideal. He starts off with a nice 78 short route running rating, so in and out routes should be heavily utilized, along with his 94 agility, 77 spin, 83 juke, and 78 stiff arm in the open field. So he'll be able to do a lot of damage to defenders when he catches the ball. But that's the thing, his catch rating is only 78 and his catching traffic is 77. So getting the basics down will be key for the 68 rated Moore to get him to function consistently. He could get lost in the mix of the slew of young receivers the Packers have, so you might be able to get him for very little, or he might hit somebody's practice squad, or better yet, free agency. At 5 is Terry McLaurin. The second Redskin on the list, McLaurin brings more speed to the table opposed to Harmon. He has a 93 speed rating and 91 acceleration, so he'll be having some deep ball possibilities over here. along with some open field possibilities with 75 break tackle and 76 spin move ratings. The 22-year-old rook does have 82 catch and 80 catch in traffic for you, so he's not Emmanuel Hall out here, along with okay route run and starting numbers. He has the speed to be a deep threat while also work his magic underneath with his other ratings. Focusing on getting his catch in traffic and spec catch ratings up should be priority number one for him now. The former Buckeye is among a group of Quinn, Quick, and Harmon in ratings, so he possibly could get lost in the mix as well. But with his speed rating, I doubt it. You might have to give up a little extra for his services, but the potential is there for him to be a starter on your team for years. Fourth is TreQuan Smith. The 23-year-old combines being one of the most dependable receivers on the list with his ability to also make guys pay once the ball is in his hands. His combo of 83 catching, 83 catching traffic, 84 spec, 79 short, 78 mid, and 76 deep offers some of the best receiving numbers from a guy as young as him with his rating, while also being a baby Anquan Bolden with his 77 stiff arm and 64 trucking added to that. Sure, he could be getting some Drew Brees love with those ratings, but these numbers stay with him wherever he goes. Smith doesn't have game-breaking speed, which is sad, but he can't have it all. In regular team leagues, it will be hard to grab him due to the Saints not having the best receiving depth behind Thomas, so he might be most guys' number 2 or at least their number 3 receiver. So you're going to have to give a bit more to get him, but the 23-year-old who has a star development will certainly be worth the investment to obtain. Third is James Washington. Washington is the best route runner on the list with his 79 short, 80 mid, and 84 deep ratings. And he's only 23, so he's definitely going to be a problem in a year or two with proper development. But what makes him special as the 5'11 receiver is unguardable after the catch. Check this: 79 break tackle, 83 spin, 65 trucking, and 73 stiff arm. So he gives you multiple ways to beat defenders for extra yards. His speed is about average for his position, but he also uses his 68 strength and 78 release to beat the press. Even though Brown went crazy, rocked the blonde mustache, and went to Oakland, at least in Madden, the Steelers are still more than fine at receiver with Juju, Washington, and Johnson. If you want to go that direction, I mean, why wouldn't you? Coming in at number 2 on the list is Hakeem Butler. The former Iowa State star stands 6'5" and 227 pounds. So he's a big boy, and he's going to do a lot of damage in Madden 20. Let's start with his 87 spec catch to catch any and every ridiculous pass, and that's just the start, so that rating will definitely be in the 90s in no time. Then he also has 84 catching traffic, so he's going to be that guy you can just throw it up to in a pinch and he's coming down with it. Surprisingly, his route running numbers are also decent, so he can develop into a well-rounded receiver with proper development and stats. Of course, I love his 79 stiff arm and 67 trucking, so I can little boy defenders in the open field. His 88 spin is fine, but with all the other things he brings to the table, it's more than enough. But it did end up being the reason he doesn't top the top 10 list. Carr's owners should have no fear once Larry Fitz moves on, as they have Kirk, Butler, and a guy who just missed the top 10 list, Andy Isabella, to dominate with. Very few teams have a trio that young and good to build up into studs in the league. And coming in at number 1 on Sports Gamers Online top 10 sleeper wide receivers to grab in Madden 20 is Miles Boykin. Y'all, I just knew this guy was going to be nice. No way he wasn't. Boykins has 92 speed and 96 jump, so that's good night, right? Okay, I kid, but Boykins overall is way too low for what he can do already and what he can turn into. He has the speed to burn corners deep, and if he doesn't, he can use his 6'4 frame, 96 jump, and 86 pet catch to just monster him. Oh, he also has 84 catch and 83 catching traffic, so he's an automatic starter on whatever team he is on. At least he should be. His route run is going to need some work at all 3 levels, but that's to be expected. But everything else you expect a wide receiver to do, he can do already. Beat corners deep? Yeah. Moss defenders? Yep. Catch hard passes in traffic? Yeah. Beat press? Of course. For Ravens owners, having him in Hollywood at receiver isn't fair, man. Building him up with Jackson for years is going to be some nasty stuff. So it makes sense why Miles Boykin sits atop Sports Gamers Online top 10 sleeper wide receivers to grab in Madden 20. So alright, sports gamers, do you agree with the list? And if not, what receiver have you had your eyes on or have been balling with that's well below the overalls everybody has their eye on? Let me know in the comments down below. And stay tuned here at Sports Gamers Online for the next vid in our sleeper series, where we jump to the cornerbacks and show you the potential guys you'll be able to lock up the Odells and DeAndre Hopkinses of the world with very little in terms of assets given up for you to acquire them. So make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And once you're with us, hit that bell icon at the bottom so you don't miss any of these videos. Alright, I'm Chris. Thank y'all for watching, and be good, y'all.